Hello and welcome to another round of Championship predictions from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savage, and with me, as always, is Mr. Daniel Cody. It's another midweek edition. The teams are catching up, and we start off with Tuesday night's fixture. We start in London. It is Fulham versus Birmingham City. Fulham, despite going 1-0 down, still scored 6. Birmingham got a good point away at Preston.
Yeah, I think, let's be honest, it was important for Birmingham to stop the rot. I think we talked about it last week. They looked devoid of confidence, they looked out of form. I know Ono Hernandez made his debut, but ultimately it was an older boy at the club in Scott Hogan that came on and saved the day in the end. But as you say, it was important they just didn't lose that game, and does take them 1 point further away from the drop, which is what they've got to be looking at the moment. Fulham, well, you said in the last episode they're not going to score 7 again, are they? But they went pretty close. And I dread to do it because I did it for Middlesbrough Reading at the weekend. I said, this is a banker, and it almost came back and hit us in the face. But this surely has to be a home win. Fulham have scored 13 goals in 2 games. They're playing another side near the bottom, and they've looked ruthless against them. They've got the second best home record in the league, the joint most goals at home in 30 in just 13 games. And Birmingham on the road, we talked about them being better there last season, not so much this time around. They don't score many. They're not going to get one. They're going to lose. I don't think it's going to be as big, but I'm going to look stupid if I go 1 or 2-0 and it's not. But 2-0 again.
No, I'm going to go 3-0 to Fulham. I think they'd seen the Bournemouth result before the game and literally buoyed by that. And okay, they thought it got over a confident start with, conceding an early goal, but they were ruthless after that. 5-2 at half time, was it? Something like that. So Mitrovic back and score. Well, Mitrovic scoring another hat trick. Birmingham should be worried. In the Lee Bowyer's press conference afterwards, he was like, "Oh, well, they got 13 too. Oh, great." So yeah, Fulham for me, 3-0 win at the Cottage. The other game on Tuesday night is Preston North End against Sheffield United. Preston obviously drew Birmingham 1-1. Sheffield United, a really surprising, not yet surprising, away defeat to Derby.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the fact that they'd started so well under Heckingbottom. I think I did predict a Derby win in the weekend game. And I think you might have done as well, to be fair.
I did. No, I did not. I put a draw.
Well, look, neither of us had them to win the game, so I don't think we can count it as a massive surprise. But the truth is, they had 3 weeks off. They were going to be rusty. We've seen that with other teams that came back. They looked poor in the FA Cup tie, and probably bar Luton, who we'll get to later, most of the teams coming back after a break didn't look great at the weekend. So I don't think it's a panic station yet, but it is certainly a disappointment. Preston, at new manager bounce, hasn't lasted as long as they might have hoped. And the performances at no stage have been brilliantly convincing. I know they're playing better football. They created lots of chances against Birmingham, but ultimately you've got to start getting victories at this point. They are now taking the place as the most inconsistent team of the league with 8 wins, 8 draws and 8 defeats. And Sheffield United, I don't know if that's the new manager bounce gone, because we both said Heckingbottom would struggle and it looked very stupid for a couple of games. But away from home, Sheffield United have been one of the best teams this season. And I'm going to bank on them to get a snuck victory at the end by 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a great game though.
This game for me it could literally go either way. Obviously, Sheffield United will be very disappointed. Obviously, losing the Derby. Obviously, Derby on very good form at the moment, fighting for their lives. Preston, you could probably say they haven't really playing well as well. I'm going to go 1-0 to Sheffield United. Next up, it's Hull. They're at home to Blackburn. Hull, at the time of scoring, we're doing this on a Sunday. They just lost 2-0 to Stoke. Blackburn weren't great at Cardiff, but still picked up 3 points.
And you would argue that's the sign of a team that might be in a promotion battle, because with 10 men for the last 15 minutes in a game where they got out-possessioned by 2-1, outshot by 3-1, they managed to get the victory. And Joe Rothwell, another goal from a different area of the pitch, is something that, we've talked about their reliance on Ben Brereton Diaz, but perhaps we're just starting to see others come to fruition and step up at big moments. And I mean this politely, Craig, we've talked about their inconsistency and their defensive record for a number of years, similar to QPR in December and November. But they were in a game where their backs were against the wall for a bit and they hung on and they kept the clean sheet. So we have to take a massive positive out of that for them. Hull, look, it's just dried up again at the wrong time. I'm going to say it. I think all of the chaos about is it not happening with the takeover is causing some distraction from on the pitch. Obviously, the new prospective owner is talking wildly about promotion next season and the top 6 of the Premier League and all of that sort of stuff, which is not helpful to a relegation battle in the Championship. As much as it could be great for the future, it helps get the fans on side. It is causing some difficulties at the moment and maybe just a distraction. Hull are one of the worst teams in the league at home. They've only picked up 3 wins there all season. Blackburn on the road, albeit they're not quite as strong, they've still done pretty well. But they don't score a huge amount of goals on the road, as we saw against Cardiff. So I'm going to go for a low-scoring game. I'm going to go for 1-0 Blackburn again. I think they might just nick it on a set piece or something.
Yeah, I'm going to go Blackburn win again. Hull pretty much got battered against Stoke. Looking at the stats, 21 shots they had to face. Blackburn, yeah, as you said, it was a performance of promotion contenders. I said Cardiff played pretty well. They just couldn't get that goal. Obviously, Cardiff struggling as well down in the bottom of the league. So they would be fighting. No goal for Brereton Diaz, but this probably could be Brereton Diaz's last game for a couple of games because he's got international duty. Mm-hmm. So they have to find something. Obviously, Rothwell scoring is a plus because they found a way to win without Brereton Diaz's goals. So I think Blackburn will win this game. I'm going to go by 3-1. And the final game on Wednesday, it is Reading versus Luton Town. Reading played really well on the pitch for 80 minutes, but lost it. Maybe lack of it. Well, obviously, loads of injuries and lack of experience on that side. Off the field, it is a huge mess with Liam Moore stripped of the captaincy. Andy Carroll's probably gone. And they're playing Luton Town, who won the 97th minute. Obviously, you were there against Bournemouth live on Sky, and scenes.
Oh, it was fabulous. I did say it after. I can't remember, certainly post-pandemic, but a buzz like that at the football ground.
Portsmouth, probably Portsmouth. Well, yeah, after the pandemic. Yeah, Portsmouth was the probably the last time. Maybe Wigan, obviously, that last minute 2-1 win.
Probably the first time since Nathan Jones is back, because all the other ones have been behind closed doors, hadn't they? So it was a really special moment. And for the first half, Luton deserved it. They were absolutely outclassing Bournemouth, a very good side. They pressed them high. They didn't look comfortable at any stage, Bournemouth. I'm not going to get too much into the officiating decision because it was ultimately the correct one for the ruled out goal for the second, but how it got there is a big worry for the future. And I'll probably be talking about that in our next ramble, to be honest. So I'll leave that for now. But Luton finished the stronger, to be fair to them. And that was surprising, I guess, given the fact that we mentioned they hadn't had a league game in 5 weeks. They looked, I think you would say, rusty from watching them against Harrogate the week before. And, 2 injuries early in the second half. We looked like we were just running out of steam. But Kenilworth Road can be a particularly special place for them. And it was on Saturday. And it was a fantastic display. Reading, like you mentioned, Andy Carroll has been brilliant for them on the pitch. And they really fought hard. But they're running out of players. Liam Moore's situation is weird. Andy Carroll, it looks like, might be going to Burnley before this game takes place. And they're in a similar position to Derby where they're not going to be able to get many in. So I do worry for Reading. I do think the off-the-pitch chaos will ultimately put them right in the relegation mix. And I think the manager's been hard done by because he did a brilliant job for them last year. I have to predict a Luton win. I don't think it'll be convincing. We've also got to assess the ability of a squad to come back for 2 games in 3 days after 5 weeks off. I think it's going to be much changed. It's going to be a bit disjointed, but Luton are going to nick it 2-1. If Andy Carroll's there, he'll still score.
Let's start with Reading. I felt a bit sorry for them actually. Probably for the first time this season. I think they worked really hard. Obviously, Middlesbrough are a very good side at the moment under Chris Wilder. And he just couldn't hang on. They were probably tired out themselves. And then you hear afterwards that Liam Moore's obviously stripped of his captaincy. It's just a huge mess. And Reading fans probably are annoyed. And obviously, the results of Pavlovich, he probably had the worst week of his career. And I don't see a way out of this. It's really bad at the moment. And worry in that sense. Another worry is they are struggling with players. I don't know if this game's going to go ahead. I worry about that as well.
It was only 6 subs, wasn't it, on Saturday?
And obviously, if Carroll goes and Liam Moore, obviously he was injured anyway, but he's lost the captaincy, so that's another player that's not going to be playing again for them. How many they've got left? It's a real worry. But hopefully the game goes ahead, regardless. Obviously, the fans will want to see it regardless, even if it's good, bad, and ugly for Reading. Luton, on the other hand, I went at the game. I was about 3 miles away at my own game, and I heard the Kenilworth Road, and that's the first time I've ever heard that Kenilworth Road 3 miles away going absolutely mental. And that wasn't just the third goal, that was the second goal and the disallowed second goal as well. So that brought a little bit of goosebumps to me while I'm trying to concentrate on my own game to manage. But that was lovely to see. Other than that, fantastic result for Luton. Played really well. The goals were very good. Made Bournemouth look very, very average. Gary Cahill won Champions League. He's won Europa League. He's won a couple of Premier Leagues, FA Cups. Adebayo made him look like a League Two player. And Lloyd Kelly obviously scored another own goal. I'm going on my ball myself, not as you were just doing, but made him look really, really poor. So that's a credit to obviously Nathan Jones and the coaching staff as well to make a very good Bournemouth side look very, very average. But I thought they worked hard, and it shows a lot of character for Luton to win it in the 97th minute. And you saw that in the celebrations. It's not just, why is this team celebrating in the 97th minute? No, every team would have done that in the 97 minutes when a last second winner. Every team would have done
it. It felt like a big
moment. It did feel like a big moment. If that pushes Luton on to sneak into the playoffs, you can go back to 15th of January to say that was the moment where Luton bounced on to win to get into the Championship playoffs. Similar to what it was when Luton played Portsmouth a couple of seasons ago in League One. That was the moment to push Luton on. Loads of games are going to catch up to Luton. Most of the players are back, which is you can mix the squad up a little bit. Couple of little injuries yesterday, so you never know. But I think Luton will win this game. I'm going to go by 2-0. There's still enough quality in this Luton side. And let's have a quick recap of what we have predicted in this midweek edition. We've all pretty much we've both pretty much agreed who's going to win. Wins of Fulham, Sheffield United, Blackburn, and Luton. And that is what we think for this midweek's action in the Championship. Do you agree with us or disagree with us? Let us know in the comment section below and give us your predictions for this midweek's action. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Honest Football Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.